done it! I cannot believe it! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again!
Hello everyone, we are Through on Goal, a podcast where we talk about football and pretty much nothing else. My name is Sam, and as always, I am rejoined. We're back with my co-host and best friend in the whole wide world, Elliot. Hello, Elliot.
Yes, hello everyone, Happy New Year, and let's get to it.
Finally, we're back. Apologies there if you didn't hear our quiz one. I had COVID. I'm back now. End of story. FA Cup, what a week to come back on. The magic of the FA Cup. Now, I know for a fact, Elliot, you were a very, very happy bunny this week.
I was this afternoon, yeah. Yeah,
Definitely
I was.
Why was that? What game? I know what it is. Big Towie fan.
Massive
That's it.
Towie fan, yeah.
Mark Wright making his debut. Everyone, that's what I turned it on for.
Yeah, well, there's probably never been a more hyped up debut for, what was it, a 34-year-old left back.
Yeah. Do you know what? I didn't know Josh Wright played for them. That
No,
took me by...
I just presumed he was still at Leyton Orient.
That's what I thought, because I was looking up on FootMob, not a sponsor yet. And obviously, Jake Kessatal, I knew, signed for them in the summer. I still rate him. I don't know why Gillingham really let him go, but he's at League 2 level. He's a very good midfielder.
Okay.
Obviously, Josh Wright and Stuart Nelson, England's number one backup keeper.
Glenn Morris in goal. Is it Glenn Morris? Glenn Norris?
No, Glenn Morris, yeah.
Glenn Morris, yeah, that's an interesting sort of dynamic there, because he was number 2 to Stuart Nelson at Gillingham, and now Stuart Nelson is number 2 to him at Crawley. But yeah, it was basically...
Crawley just Gillingham's BT, that's what they are.
Yeah, it was.
It's what Liverpool, it's what Southampton are to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Well, were.
But in truth, I wasn't going to watch the game because I, much like probably the rest of the population, thought Leeds were going to walk it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought when it got to half time at 0-0, I thought, you know what, I'll switch on to it. I'll see what's going on. Within a few minutes, Crawley are 2-0 up. And
I couldn't believe it.
yeah, ended up winning 3-0. But in truth, could have been more. And the scoreline didn't, it wasn't out of, in truth, the scoreline just didn't flatter them. They deserved that win.
No, I completely agree. Casilla, now, I don't know. I saw a brilliant tweet months and months ago, like Real Madrid only signed him because it sounded like Casilla. Like
Casillas.
Casillas. And yeah, I can kind of see that. He's not a good keeper.
Yeah,
He's a questionable man at best.
Yeah, but we've been questioning his goalkeeping abilities long before this podcast started. I remember, particularly when Derby faced Leeds in the playoffs, he was just absolute heads gone. You can't trust a goalkeeper.
His decision making is something. The thing is, though, I'm not too convinced with Meslier. I know he's young. I know he's still got a lot ahead of him. But I'd rather Meslier, obviously, ahead of Casilla. But even then, I don't know. I'm not.
He's made some... It's a strange one. He's made some good saves, and I think he's been man of the match in quite a few games. But
he looks shaky.
Yeah, like physically, he doesn't fill you with confidence. Like he's a pretty skinny, lanky keeper. There's been a few goals that have kind of gone through his wrists, really, or Poppadom wrists. Yeah, he's young, one for the future. But if he's got ambitions of being number one at Leeds United, with them having the ambitions that they have, he's going to have to develop.
But Elliot, Leeds ran the whole game. They're brilliant to watch. They're terrific to watch. And that's all you can ask for them.
You've got to give some credit to Crawley, though, haven't you?
Only a little bit of credit. I don't get
the praise of and also,
we'll remain non-biased.
Also, it came as a surprise to me that Bielsa still hasn't won an FA Cup tie since he's taken over at Leeds. No.
Is he not?
No.
Coach of the Year, he is. Or nominee. I don't know. But
I love that you're sounding even more bitter than I am.
I didn't
it's
get
hard
it
to
right.
stay biased. It's hard to stay unbiased.
I didn't get it. It happened. Obviously, we've not had a real chance, I don't think, to talk about it.
Yeah, we haven't really. Yeah.
Because Klopp won it. Now, credit to Klopp. Obviously, he's made Anfield an absolute fortress with this Liverpool side. And, he's won the Premier League and stuff. But over Bayern Munich's manager, who was like unbeaten most of the season, won the Champions League. This is a team that beat Barcelona 8-2. I don't know. It's just... he's won it now. It's done. But I understand Bielsa's very, very well respected. You can't deny that. Every manager hasn't got a bad word to say about him. And I don't deny that he is a good manager. But then you look at the why isn't he at a bigger club? No disrespect to Leeds, but why isn't he at a club that challenges for titles? Yeah, he's won the Championship title, fair enough. But why hasn't he won an FA Cup title? What is it about Bielsa that makes everyone,
He's had stints at some big clubs in the past, and okay, maybe he hasn't been to one of the biggest clubs in England, or certainly at the moment one of the teams challenging for the title, but maybe he sort of bought into the project that Leeds have going on, and he was the first manager of, I think it was something like the previous 12 or 13 to actually get Leeds back in the Premier League. But does that warrant him being shortlisted for Manager of the Year in world football? Absolutely not, for me.
No, and I challenge you on the big clubs in the past, all right? Because this is his managerial record. I'll go from 98, because above it was Argentina.
Right.
Espanyol, and then he managed Argentina for a good 6 years.
Right.
Chile, Athletic Bilbao, Marseille, Lazio, Lille, and Leeds.
I thought he'd done more in Italy than that, to be fair. I thought he'd done more than just Lazio.
No, I'm not saying... he's,
Yeah.
I just, I don't know. I don't want to, we haven't even written anything about Bielsa in the notes of our podcast. A quick Wikipedia search. Wikipedia, that's your
source.
In Europe, okay, so all the teams he's managed in Europe, these are his honours. Copa del Rey runner-up, Europa League runner-up, won the EFL Championship.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I thought he'd been more successful than that in truth.
Argentina, he won the gold medal. He won the pre-Olympic tournament, and he was the Copa America runner-up.
Yeah, it's not a long list, is it?
No, his record is obviously honours. We'll end it there. I don't get the hype. Personally, I don't. If he was to become... I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. Anyway, enough of Leeds. They lost 3-0 to Crawley. Should have won it, but hey-ho. It seems that Tottenham can't catch a break. Because if they lost to Marine, you've lost to an 8th tier team. You've beaten Marine comfortably. Oh, they're only an 8th tier team. Well, what you're bragging about? Do you know what I mean? I feel like it was a very lose-lose situation. It was comfortable for Tottenham. Vinicius got a hat-trick. Lucas, very nice free kick. And Alfie Devine, 16 years old, scored his first professional goal for Tottenham. What a moment.
Oh, yeah, it was a really well-taken goal as well. And I think he's one of these ones that went through Wigan's academy and kind of had to get sold ridiculously cheap because of the financial goings-on at Wigan. They just needed money and he had to go. But looks like a steal for Tottenham. He looks a very good player, and I wouldn't be surprised if next year he's one of those players that's playing 4 out of the 6 European group games, something like that.
No.
He's looking very, very composed, very good.
I'm going to sound like one of those. I'm going to go on another tangent in a second. But when you see on Twitter and you go on to like it's every team, and I just can't stand it. They've either got like Werner or Martial or Bruno Fernandes in their
football Twitter,
and it's like, ooh, someone woke up hungry, 0 shots on target. It's like, that copy and paste crap. Yeah. And then there's my 2-year-old woke up and said, "Are they the worst team?" I just get a life, you virgins. Anyway. I can't stand it. It's shocking. It's just, why? They've got notification. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Anywho.
They're the same people that...
I'm going to sound like one of those in a minute, right?
The same people that ratios are...
Oh my god, it's like, and then underneath it, it's always like incoming ratio or big dub. Oh, I just don't
It's
care.
another language, isn't it?
I hate the comment section of football Twitter. I hate it.
It does make us sound old.
Stand it. I know, because it's definitely something you would do.
I'd have done it 10 years ago.
Like I'd have done it 10 years ago. You probably still do it. I don't know what you do on your own. You've probably got like under Leeds.
No. I didn't reply to Leeds saying Rodrigo woke up hungry today, 0 shot. I thought that's not... I'm not that bad.
As well that go with... I can't stand it. It was my birthday Thursday. I only turned 25, but I sound like I'm 60. So, anywho. That was my tangent.
Also, though, with that Alfie Devine, they did mention after the game he was born in 2004.
That makes me sick.
I felt ancient.
Anywho, so where was I? Yes. Now, obviously, I know Vinicius scored a hat-trick against an 8th tier team. 2 of them were tap-ins. One of them, he's absolutely smashed it. He didn't care. It was a miss-hit, and then he realised, I'm on the line, let me whack it in. And then, but his third goal was nice. Obviously, looped it over the keeper. That was all right. He got man of the match. Now, every game that I have watched him play, be it in Europa League or Cup games, he seems all right. He actually looks like a decent backup striker for Harry Kane. He can score goals, which says a lot about the former backup strikers Spurs have had. And, he scored some goals in Europa League. I think that he's all right. I actually think he's decent, and he's still young. He's got his wits about him, and I don't know about you. I don't know how much you've watched as Spurs, but
yeah. So I remember watching him on I think it was his debut in the Europa League. I can't remember who it was against, but he got 2 assists and
a goal and 2 assists, I think. Yeah,
goal and 2 assists. Yeah, and he looked very good. And they kept saying on BBC that he's on loan. Is it a loan with an obligation to buy?
I don't think so. I think it is just a season-long loan from
Benfica. Yeah, I
think
it's Benfica. Yeah. I thought he was a Spurs player.
No, only a year loan. I wouldn't be surprised because he seems happy at Tottenham. And I don't know. Obviously, I'm not exactly, in an insider for Tottenham. I don't work for the Athletic, but I think Tottenham seem happy enough with him that he is a backup. He's a backup striker that scores goals, which has been very, very difficult to come by with Spurs. So that's fair enough. And obviously, again, a little bit earlier this week, Tottenham into the Capital One. God, how far back am I going there?
Oh God,
Carabao. It changes its name every bloody year.
Yeah.
The Carabao Cup final, which we know now is against Man City. Real chance of silverware. What do you think?
It's a one-off game against Man City, yeah, it's a real chance, and Jose will be right up for it. His sort of thing is to win a trophy everywhere he goes, and this is a massive opportunity, a trophy.
It's the last one they won about 12 years ago. Regardless of what it is, I still think it's still a major trophy. It's still one of the big four big three, in England. So, but the problem is that I think will be the slight downfall for Tottenham is it's in April now. Now.
Yeah.
The fixture pile-up, obviously, if games being called off for COVID, depending on how Tottenham progress in Europa League and the FA Cup, that game could come where Tottenham are tired. Man City, obviously, I know Man City are on the same run of form. They're still in the FA Cup. They're still in the Champions League. They'll probably be knocked out in the semis. So... But obviously not by then. But I think if Tottenham are facing them in February, I think that's a good game. Man City are on a good run of form, and Tottenham really have something to prove. But it's too hard to call with it being in April.
Yeah, I think I saw something during the week that if Spurs were to progress to finals in the other trophies, they'd be averaging a game every 3 days until middle of May. And then you've also got an international break still in there this season, and it's a lot. And do you think with Man City, if they make 4 changes up the top end of the pitch, if they take out, I don't know, or even just a couple of changes, if you take out De Bruyne and you take out another one of the creative players and put somebody else in like Foden, whatever, doesn't make that much of a difference. But if you take Kane or you take Son out of Spurs, that's a very different game.
Very different team. No, also, I agree.
Also, so that was put back to April with the hope of there being fans in the ground, which first of all gives me a little bit of hope that maybe there is some light at the end of this tunnel. But also, is it realistic?
I reckon a few thousand.
Yeah.
I definitely reckon a few thousand, yeah. The problem I think you have there is you've got a team coming from Manchester. Now, obviously, if we go back into these tiers, without a doubt, Tottenham obviously haven't got to travel far. You've got train travel from a group of fans being on, I don't know. We're not talk politics here. We're not political, but logistically, I think it's going to be difficult being as one team is from Manchester. I know you get you got fans everywhere, but, they're going to be mainly from Manchester. So, I don't know. I'd love to see. I know it's a 90,000 seater stadium, 10,000 each, something like that. I think you could space them out easily in a stadium like that. By then, obviously, the vaccinations, they hope to vaccinate most of the vulnerable by then. I don't know.
Who knows?
I hope we can get back to a football stadium so soon.
Yes.
Because it was so close and then it was taken away because of Kent, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, up the Midlands.
Yeah.
I say wearing my Gillingham shirt. But yeah, a few more games in the FA Cup I think are worth talking about. Now, Crawley, well done to Crawley. But again, again, well done. He's 13. We've got, obviously, the Liverpool-Villa game is the same. But Derby, I know they're under, I think there were a couple of under-21s, but mainly they were around about under-18 or under-19.
Yeah.
I did expect, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit too harsh, but I did expect a little bit better from a team, that academy. I know they surely aren't exactly like professional footballers in the grand scheme of things, but I was bored. Derby.
I know what you mean, but it's because Derby do have historically quite a good academy. They brought through some very good players, but the problem is all of those good players are now in with the first team, or at least training with the first team.
Rooney has brought a lot up,
and anyone involved in that first team training setup couldn't play, whether it was for COVID or simply just for sort of the contract tracing reasons, but couldn't play. So it was like the best of what was left, and they probably haven't played together as an 11 before.
No, that's
And I would say Chorley wanted it more as well, because it means more to the club for Chorley, for the players and everyone surrounding that club than it does for Derby. But
good amount of money coming in yet.
Yeah, but Chorley went into the game as favourites because of the amount of players missing for Derby. It shows what a difference it does make.
But again, football Twitter with its usual comments. I can't. It's funny. When's that takeover happening, by the way? Because I've read that they've yet to be paid because they're expecting the takeover by Christmas or something.
It seemed so soon, and then they issued a statement saying we expect to be in charge for Christmas. That's now 2 and a bit weeks ago.
Well,
and
I've read. I don't know how reliable the source is. He's verified, but should be done this week, or at least an announcement should be made this week. But Derby even made an announcement to say we are still being taken over.
Yeah,
nothing's happened. Like nothing's happened since. But
and I don't know what it is that's holding it up. Is it the same test that the same owners didn't pass with Newcastle, although that's a Premier League test and not an EFL test?
I'm pretty sure. EFL test, what's that? Have you got money? Yeah.
Yes.
Have you got proof? Yeah. You don't need to show us. There you go. You're fine. Take off the time. As long as you say you've got proof, that's fine.
Yeah.
But no, it will be interesting. Obviously, if it does happen, obviously it's still going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you still think Rooney will get the job?
I think he'll get the job at least until the end of the season. Give it Rooney till the end of the season.
Give it Rooney end of the season.
Because I think if you come in now and kind of disrupt the kind of harmony that they've got there now and they've built over the last few games, it would be very unfair and possibly quite dangerous for the club.
Right. So, we'll talk about another player born in the early 2000s, 2003 to be precise. 2003. God. 2003, he was born. Louis Barry. What a moment. What a moment. Yeah. My favourite thing about that game was not the fact that they scored to make it level. Liverpool won, congrats. Was the fact that he swapped shirts with Fabinho and one of the coaches went, what the hell are you doing? Get the shirt back. And then there's a video of him in the tunnel. Fabinho, can I have my shirt back, please?
Do you reckon he got to keep Fabinho's shirt as well? But
it would have been nice.
Yeah, you think... I wouldn't have given the shirt up for Fabinho because that's your debut. You've scored. It's the best moment of your life at that stage.
That's what I said to Lano. Like, if I was playing for Marine, I'd be in such a 50-50 because this is FA Cup 3rd round shirt against Tottenham. I'm framing it.
Yeah.
Gareth Bale's on the pitch. When are you ever going to get Gareth Bale's shirt?
Do you just say, can I have your shirt, not can we swap shirts? Because
can I just have it? Yeah.
David, who plays Marine, who's a school teacher from Monday to Friday. Yeah, it doesn't matter to Gareth Bale in his
I was going to say, he's not going to exactly frame it, is he?
Yeah.
But, and of all players for Liverpool to swap it with.
You'd go Salah, wouldn't you? Or you'd go Mane.
Fabinho was playing centre-back. Maybe it was the play he dribbled past. Just be like, I ran past you, can I have your shirt? Yeah. Anyway, and I thought their keeper, he had a good first half. I think second half a little bit near, but what was his name? He's like Undodi or something like that. He's Hungarian. Again, born in 2001. It should be illegal now, but it's had to be played unless you're born in the 90s.
I did see a fantastic stat for the game. I mean, it was sent to me. Thank you, Michael. Aston Villa's starting 11 have made 5 more appearances for Exeter than they had for Aston Villa. It's incredible.
We love this stat.
And also, when he equalised as well, you just well in, lad. And what was it? So he came through West Brom's academy. He went to Barcelona's academy for about 6 months. And then he went back to Villa. who supposedly he's a fan of, and family are all Villa supporters.
Yeah.
But if Barcelona have an eye on you, you're talented.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention this a bit earlier. Beauty of the cup, magic of the cup. Jose Mourinho said, "I told my players that when we lose matches in the Premier League, it's my fault. But if they lose today, it's their fault." I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, hello everyone. We love a good stat. Don't mean to take this away from Louis Barry. Congrats on your goal. Well done, Liverpool. You won 4-1 against 10-year-olds. But another absolutely fantastic stat that I saw, and I saw it by around Christmas time, but obviously I couldn't do anything. Zach Steffen is the first non-bald American keeper to play in the Premier League since 2002. We absolutely love a good stat, and that's my favourite stat of all time.
Is that when Tim Howard had hair?
No, who would that be? American keeper?
Because there's been Tim Howard, Brad Friedel,
Brad Guzan,
of course.
There was Casey Keller, who played for Leicester and Spurs. I can't think of an American keeper.
That's an incredible stat. That is on par with your question of who scored for the first time in daylight.
Yeah, that was...
Now, if you haven't listened to the quiz, listen to it.
Yeah, that's a good question. That was a brilliant question. If I say to you, Elliot, a team that has not won an away game all season and has not won a game, regardless, in the last 8, drawing 3 and losing 5. Now you think to yourself, an away game, they haven't won one all season. Yeah, I think it's a good time to play them. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Gillingham have lost to Burton. Now, but I would have much preferred to have watched the game that we went to last. It was boring, it was 0-0, and there was a hat being thrown around, which we cared about more about the game. John Akinde has yet to score a goal at Priestfield for Gillingham.
Oh, wow.
He has only scored 4 goals for Gillingham since he joined, which is not a good return for a player that came with a lot of hype. And we're closer to the relegation spot now than we are playoffs. Now, I'm not saying... no doubt in my mind that I do not believe Gillingham are or will be this season in a relegation battle. Now, I'll put my words out there, but I don't think so. However, the last 6 we've lost 5 and won 1. Now, no, there's no draws. If there was a couple of draws in there, you could be like, oh, result, you got a point. But there's no draws. We've won 1 and lost 5. That is not a good return. I don't know if sacking Steve Evans is who's available.
Yeah,
that's the first one. Obviously, Nigel Pearson. Yeah, we'll come to Jill, doesn't he? Bielsa, why not? He's, amazing. I'll tell you what, really show your worth, Bielsa. Manage Gillingham with Scully as your boss, and let's see if you can get them to the Premier League. But it's becoming. I don't get a chance to watch a lot of Gillingham games. I'm not, I haven't got the money, but from what I see, the first half of football of every Gillingham game seems to be just awful. Defending and everything seems to be shocking.
Right.
There was a bit of pressure against Burton in the second half, from what Jeff and Bianca Westwood were telling me on Soccer Saturday, and a team that hasn't won a away game all season, and a team that's bottom of the league, and a team that obviously hadn't won a game like in 8 or whatever I said, lost the last 5. And what is it? I think it was something like in the last 4 games, they've conceded 17 goals or something stupid like that. Awful. Absolutely awful defensive thing. And they've kept a clean sheet against Gillingham. Now, Gillingham have this ambition, and I certainly have this ambition as a Gillingham fan, for at least playoffs, at least I had them predicted, to go up over in the playoffs. God, that was a good prediction. Love a good prediction, me. But you've got to be beating these teams. You have to be.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats here, and it looks like Gills did all the right things. But
in the second half.
Yeah, they just couldn't put it away. I mean, Burton had 1 shot on target, and they've won 1-0. They'll love it. It'll be the perfect away performance.
Yeah, there was a tweet Gillingham put out in it was the 90th minute of the game, and I always thought it was a bit curious because normally when Gillingham tweet, there's not really much mention. There's a couple of Tin Pot Club, the virgins, that the football Twitter. Yeah. But then there's this particular tweet had 10, 11, 12 replies within 2 minutes. I'm thinking, what on earth has just happened? All the replies are, how did Akinde miss that? That was 2 yards out. How is he a striker if he's not scoring that? That was the worst miss I've ever seen. All of them were that. And I'm thinking, oh my God.
I saw it on the local news this evening, and yeah, it's a crowded boxing fair, and it looks like he's tried to place it into the corner. He's side-footed it. It's not power. He's tried to place it like sort of over the defender, loop it into the corner, and he's just maybe got a bit too much on it, but it's gone onto the roof of the netting.
We've signed a striker from Southampton on loan this week, so
is it Danny Ings?
Fingers crossed. Oh, I wish.
Is it Che Adams?
Also, did you see Wickham's tweet? Right, so Wickham obviously a good 3-1 win again.
4-1.
Was it 3-1? 4-1. 4-1 win against Preston. Well done to them. I had Preston to win, so thanks for ruining my bet. However,
that's ruined within minutes, wasn't it? It was like 2-0 within about 8 minutes.
It was 3-0 within like 30 minutes. I cashed out. I didn't cash out, but I think my cash out went from like £2 to like 2p in the space of 10 minutes. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anywho, they put out a tweet saying, who wants a signing like that of a Premier League and international striker? And I'm thinking, who on earth have they got here? Like from the Premier League and an international striker. Fair enough. It was it was a Leicester under 21 striker. I think he's made one appearance for Leicester and he's made 2 national appearances for like Venezuela or something like that. No, technically they're not lying. Yeah. But they hyped it up as this international Premier League striker, thinking, they got on loan Championship. They could probably get a decent striker there. You know, QPR've just got Charlie Austin back. Yeah. No. It's Venezuelan 19-year-old who's not scored a Premier League goal, and I think he scored like 2 goals for his country.
Didn't Marine's right back have like what was
St. Lucia?
St. Lucia.
He's a St. Lucian international.
I mean, if you could, you would. You just go across to St. Lucia 3 or 4 times a year. It sounds lovely.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to hop onto Ancestry now, see how far back, if I've got any, like, I don't know, Gibraltar in me. I'll be like, there you go.
It's holiday paid for.
Get me signed up for Gibraltar, why not?
Yeah.
But anyway, well done, Wickham will ruin him a bit. Gillingham, please do something, like win, not lose. You know, when I started the hashtag Gillingham do something, I say started it, I'm the only one that's tweeted.
Done anything since.
Well, they're going to get relegated, and I don't want them to go that way. I want them to go the other way. Mm-hmm. Anyway, well done, Hull, on getting a point. Televised as well.
Yeah, we don't normally get points on telly, but
no.
Yeah, because we were due to play Wigan, and Wigan got COVID, so
been there.
The EFL actually, like, there was common sense from the EFL, and that's rare.
What?
Yeah, we rearranged the game with Sunderland. It was postponed. I think it was Boxing Day because Sunderland had COVID, and I was expecting you to say been there.
I've been there, yeah.
But
every time you mention it now.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a good point. We should have been out of sight in the first half, and we should have lost it in the second. So I'll happily take the point. I mean, it's not working for Tom Eaves. It's not working.
Hashtag bring him home. He went off, didn't he, after like 30
I think
minutes,
he'd done his car.
I was going to say, your Eves for McGuinness bingo was a lot. Well, you didn't tweet it, but...
I didn't tweet it this time. No, I was going to do it at half time, and he'd already gone off. But yeah, it was a frustrating one because he had a couple of very good chances. One was a better save than a miss, and then he also could have potentially done better in defending Aidan McGeady's header, but I think George Long is more at fault than that, and I think the only reason George Long is starting at the moment is because Matt Ingram's still got sort of the end of COVID symptoms, still kind of hanging about.
There. Still there.
Yeah. But, I mean, they clearly booked Paul Cook on the proviso that it was going to be Wigan against Hull, and it wasn't. Yeah. But
so they can only talk about one thing.
One thing that just keeps rumbling on is this contract situation with Keane Lewis Potter. So
it's ridiculous.
He gets an automatic pay rise when he makes one more start. He's our best player. His young lad deserves a pay rise, and we're just not starting him. We're making our system much more difficult, playing players out of position just so we don't play our best player, and baffles me. Just give the lad the money he deserves.
It is a bit. I'm looking at it from the outside, obviously, and I know we've talked about it in the past. I just the man management there for McCann to come out and say he's not playing for Hull until he signs a contract is a little bit blackmaily.
Problem is, it's not McCann who's making the decision. He's just
but he shouldn't have said that.
He shouldn't have said it. No,
I don't know if that was a way to alert the club owners to be like, get him to sign a new contract, or whether that's made other clubs that look at Keane Lewis Potter, our Hull fans looking thinking, he's a good youngster, he's up and coming. No, as you said, who went to Stoke?
Josh Timon.
Timon, obviously went to Stoke, and there's someone that went abroad as well, I think.
Max Clark. Yeah, he went to Vitesse. And he's been fantastic. He's been linked with Liverpool since moving there. But again, really? that was we'll offer you a contract on absolute minimal terms. You're a local lad. We expect you to sign. Well, sorry, I'm better than what you're offering. There's no problem with saying that. And the lad deserves the money. The lad deserves a pay rise. He's arguably top 5 best players in the league, not just at Hull City. And if we keep hold of him, you just pay him the money, we're more likely to get promotion. You give him a season in the Championship and he'll be potentially worth Bowen money.
Ooh, big high praise. On a completely unrelated note, obviously, to Keane Lewis Potter, Josh Timon is responsible for one of my favourite reveal videos on Twitter where he just thumbs up to me. It's just the worst.
My favourite is still Bobby Zamora at Brighton. I'm back. Oh, yeah, no, that's good. I liked Doherty's for Tottenham, where he's deleted all the Arsenal. Deleted the Arsenal. Fantastic.
But it's worth mentioning as well that Southend are on they look all right.
Yeah, they've won a hand. Well, Southend were basically destined to get relegated earlier in the season. They hadn't won a game until mid-November, but then since that game, they lost their next 2. But since then, they've only lost 1 in their last 7, and now they're only 1 point off coming out of the bottom 2, and they're looking on a decent run of form. And
I was going to say, and out of those 7 games, they've won 4 of them. 1 4, drawn 2, lost 1. That's a cracking 4. As you said, they're 1 point off out of getting relegation. They do have a couple of games in hand. The teams above them have a couple of games in hand as well. Obviously, COVID has proven to be very difficult at the moment.
Battered the games in hand. You don't know who's got what to play, and it's really hard to keep track of.
Yeah, no, it's true. But credit to them. I thought they were down and out.
Yeah, I remember it might have been November's quiz. You had a question of which 4 teams, was it 4 teams or 3 teams, have yet to still win a game. And they were one of them, and they're looking like they've maybe turned a corner and are looking on the way up.
Oh, speaking of teams that have yet to win a game, but actually did win a game, Sheffield United finally got out of since 11th of July, I think, they finally redid the draft of his 100th game. He's won his 100th game in charge of Sheffield United.
Saw that, that tweet must have been in drafts for months. But
didn't think you'd ever see it.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Wilder's done a great job, and I hope they're surely destined to go down, but I hope that they do stick with him, because he's the right man to keep building on what they've got.
Now, you're more interested in the Pizza Cup now. I'm not. I don't care. I'm obviously more Cambridge now, because Cambridge knocked out Gillingham. Yep. As we said before we started recording, it's the boat race special.
Yes.
Cambridge v Oxford. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to support Oxford, only because I lived in Wickham for 5 years. I kind of have a little bit of this, soft spot for Wickham, and I don't like their rivals.
Feels a little bit dirty.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So up the Cambridge.
Yeah.
Oh, how posh should I sound there?
Up the Cambridge.
Up the Cambridge. But yeah, so go on, Cambridge. Hull.
Yep. Yes, so we've got a kickoff.
Fleetwood for the 100th time.
Always love it. 5:30 kickoff on a Tuesday. It's great. I can finish work and I'm straight into watch the football. But yeah, it's before this season we hadn't played Fleetwood once. This is already the 3rd time we played them, with a 4th coming later. And I mean, it's a very different Fleetwood team to the one we've already played, because Ched Evans gone and signed for Preston, which has proved to be very unpopular.
Hasn't gone down well, no.
And Joey Barton has left Fleetwood as well. Yeah. So I don't know who's in charge at the moment, but
good 2-sentence goodbye on the Fleetwood's on the Fleetwood's own page. Yeah. Did you see it? It's like, he's now no longer manager. We wish him well. That was it.
Oh wow. That was it. I mean, he's not afraid to upset a few people, is he, old Joey Barton?
No, but no. I still think he won't be short of work. Get him a Gills. Well, I'm not sure. Steve Evans to Joey Barton,
it's a natural replacement though, isn't it?
Yeah. He made Fleetwood hard to beat in a sense, and he made them just absolute houseries. You know the word before it, but he made them that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think he'll be short of job offers in the coming months.
Yeah.
European roundup. It's never really a European roundup, is it? It's just 1 or 2 games that we've gone,
And this week it's 2 games.
Yeah, well, saying that, obviously, again, we've not spoken since it, but Rangers beat Celtic.
Yes.
And they're still unbeaten at the top, which is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, with a win for Rangers today against Aberdeen, they are 22 points clear at the top. Admittedly, Celtic have 4 games in hand, but what's incredible is Celtic is Rangers, like you said, still unbeaten. And of their 23 games, they've only drawn 2 of them, so they've won 21 games, scoring 59 goals, and potentially even bigger. In those 23 games, how many goals do you think they've conceded?
I think, isn't it 5?
It's 6 now because they conceded
is it
today.
6? 6 goals.
Unbelievable in 23 games.
Wow. That is something. That is, and you can say Scottish football, but even in the Europa League, he's
done very well.
The team, the group that they had, didn't think they'd get through. Almost a Europa League group of death, if you can call it. I know, Europa League can be hit and miss, but tough, really tough. It's just worth mentioning. Obviously, I understand, Europa League, but Rangers in their group had Lech Poznan, so we won't worry about those. But they had Standard Liège and Benfica in their squad, and they finished top of that group. So
very well.
And they finished top 1. They didn't lose a game. 1-4, drawn 2. So
and those 2 draws were against Benfica, and they went 2-0 up in both of those.
I think a big job is coming for Gerrard soon. I really do.
In
disrespect Rangers.
In the next round of Europa League as well, they've got Antwerp, who are in Tottenham's group, who didn't look slouches, but Rangers probably go in as favourites, at least on current form.
Yeah, it's still a tough enough team. One of our very first podcasts, I must have been either the practice one that we did or the very first one that we ever released. We were talking about Newcastle being taken over and who could be manager. And the first name we brought up was Mauricio Pochettino, because he's got all the money in the world. Yep. Instead, he started to, decided to wait out, and he's gone to a club where he can have all the money in the world. He's gone back to PSG. It's good to see him back in management. Obviously, he was a player at PSG. He has his first chance of silverware in the cup final thing against Marseille. I think it's in a week or so, against a former Tottenham manager, Andres Villas-Boas.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously he's played Champions League football now. He's got the squad. Could he win the Champions League with PSG?
It's a real tough one, because to say that they can beat the likes of Bayern Munich, the likes of Liverpool, Man City, Real Madrid, but I can't go out there and say that I can see him winning the Champions League. I think there's much more obvious options at least, and in truth, that's all he's going to get judged on. He could win the league at an absolute canter, but if he goes out in the round of 16 in the Champions League, his job's gone. Yeah,
I found it a bit, I don't know, curious. It was only an 18-month contract. Normally you get these big 4-5 year contracts, stuff like that. July 2022 he signed contract till. Now I don't know if he's holding out. I don't know if that's a PSG or Pochettino. I haven't really read into it too much, but I thought it was quite curious, because Pochettino is not the temporary kind of manager who you bring in to do a job and then obviously to bring in someone bigger, because I think he's big enough to have that kind of job. So I just thought it was a bit curious that it was only 18 months. So I don't know.
Strange one. Do you think he's wanting a return to English football?
Yes, I think he's destined for that Man United job. He's absolutely destined for it. And it will happen. It's definitely going to happen. He's always said that he wants to come back to Spurs. Would it happen again? I don't know. I think that Man United job, it absolutely has his name on it. And if he does get it, I think that's his
project.
Years. I think that's absolutely... I'm not saying Ferguson or Arsene Wenger wise, but we're talking, I think he could be possibly
5 years, 6 years. Like a kind of, maybe not have the success that Klopp's having, but to have that kind of length of time at the club.
Have a time to build it. And that's what Pochettino, he did it at Tottenham, a team that he inherited. So what he then obviously gave up, so to speak, to Mourinho, ridiculous. Same with Klopp. God, what was it? They were doing waving at the crowd to drawing 3-0 West Brom. Yeah. And then look at them now, top of the Premier League winners, Champions League. Yeah. Absolutely. So let's go on to the biggest news that I think everyone has been waiting for us to announce, but say our boys Schalke have actually won a game.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Schalke have actually won a game, Elliot.
They won 4-0.
Oh, hat-trick. 19-year-old got a hat-trick. Yeah. Just 2 chips.
Yeah. I've had less chips at a Gills game when I've got more chips.
Oh, yeah, the chips at the Gills. I miss football.
Yeah, no, I know. But, yeah, I mean, they best not get ahead of themselves, because they did win the first game of 2020 as well. So...
well, we know how that happened. Yeah. Know what happened there.
But it must have been absolute relief for them. Must have been such relief, and happy to see it happen. It's been a couple of managers since they got their last win. But yeah.
And my boys.
I want to hear you pronounce it.
Borussia Mönchengladbach.
I'll let you have that, yeah.
A lot of phlegm, I don't know.
Yeah.
Beat Bayern Munich 3-2. The stats were a little bit more in favour of, Munich, but shots still same amount of shots on target. However, a fairly comfortable game for my boys. Bayern Munich is still top though, and Mönchengladbach. Oh, I've said that wrong again. A 7th. But yeah, no, I just thought that was it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Elliot, it's been a while, and I can see you've been excited. The whole podcast, you've been waiting. You've been waiting as we come on to No Context Pun, where I end the podcast on a random pun that I find before we start recording. It might make you laugh. It might make you cry. It won't make you laugh.
It will make you groan.
But it will make you go, oh, for crying out loud. So, I'm going to say the pun and end the podcast. Elliot, you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
I've missed this. I offered Bonnie Tyler a Quality Street earlier, but she declined. She said she was holding out for a hero. We thank you very much for listening to this week's podcast. Where you can find us on YouTube at Throw on Goal. Unlike the President of the United States, you can find us on Twitter at TO Goal Podcast. Don't worry, we will not get banned unless Elliot starts becoming a Twitter virgin on all this on everyone's profile. Yeah, you could obviously find us on Apple
podcast.
You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts, you'll find us there. My thing has just gone away from the mic, so if I sound a bit different, I do apologise. What a way to end. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. It's been good to be back. You will hear us now every Tuesday without fail. I've been Sam.
I've been Elliot.
Thank you very much for listening. Tell your friends.
Thank you.